What's hard to say out loud? I'm in pain, or I still want you.
I still want you.
Woo!
That's vulnerability right there.
I still want you. God damn.
We've been married for 32 years. For the last 5 years, we have not had physical intimacy.
When you said that to me, as big as my lips are, I swear to God they hit the floor. Is sex still sex if there's no penetration?
Yes. These 10 little digits, they can work wonders.
For me to sit here and talk about anal play, goodness. My mother, if she was still alive, she'd be like, no child.
Sex is a great way for you to find out what is not working for you anymore.
I like mental stimulation. You want to get the panties wet? Kaplash! Woo, it's getting hot in here. Hey, Dana girl.
Hey.
So we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room. So let's talk about it, right?
Let's do it.
All right. So sometimes we grieve that the sex that we used to have, right, especially when we were younger. But too ashamed to say it out loud, right? And especially when we're the ones whose body has changed through childbirth or whatever else has happened to us, weight loss, weight gain, especially Black women.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's natural. You know what I mean? We do change as we get older. Right. I mean, I'm in my 50s, you know, so there's a lot of changes between 50s Dana and 20s Dana, you know.
Right.
It just is what it is at that point, you know. But, yeah, there is some embarrassment sometimes, and, you know, we feel some type of way, especially, like you said, after you have children, if you go ahead and have children.
How many do you have, Dana?
I have 3. Three adult children, yes. And, you know, yeah, they've all done different things to the body, you know, like, for instance, my first 2, my boys, I was able to bounce back. Boom. Everything was great. My third, my daughter, I had her when I was 24. She wreaked havoc, honey. Things ain't been the same since Alexa was born.
She took some stuff with her.
And left a few things too.
Right.
You know, so yeah, things are different, you know. So, you know, physical intimacy after my daughter was born, yeah, positions had to change, you know. We had to set some new boundaries and some new rules, and, you know, we had to revamp our whole sexual life, you know. But that was okay, though. I mean, as long as we communicate about it, as long as you talk about it, and, you know, you're honest as much as you can be, you know, about it, it can work itself out.
You said boundaries in your own, like, when it came to sex?
Absolutely. There's boundaries.
Have there always been boundaries since the beginning?
Since the very beginning. Absolutely.
Name one boundary that you
One boundary is I do not engage in anal. Never have, never will, don't want to, not interested. If you don't like it, hit the road. That's always...
That's not your shtick.
That is not my shtick.
Gotcha.
I never wanted it to be. No. That has not been my thing, and I've always been very upfront and honest about it. I met my husband when I was, 19 years old, you know, and from day one, that was, we talked about boundaries.
You never even tried?
We attempted to try once, and I was like, nope, this ain't working. I don't feel it. I'm not feeling good about it. Not even, nope. He was like, okay, no problem. No problem. You say no, it's no. That's it. I was like, I'm good. I'm good.
I respect that. I love the fact that you guys were actually open and honest about the conversation. You actually had the conversation, because some people don't even have the conversation about exploring different, you know, sexual positions and sexual ventures, whatever you want to call it, right? Okay, let's just use myself as an example.
Okay.
When I became sexually active and I was exploring that thing, right? I was out there, girl. So, but I had one boyfriend, and I'm not one of those women or one of those girls, because I was 17 when I lost my virginity, and late 17, almost turning 18, and when I lost my virginity, it took a while. Girl wasn't getting wide open right real quick. It took weeks before that happened. So she was tight. Anyway, so but when it did happen, it opened up the floodgates, right? I was deflowered, and so we experienced in a lot of different things. I did do anal play, right? I enjoyed it, okay? But after a while, I was just like, okay, there's some other stuff that we could do here. You know what I'm saying? So we started exploring each other's bodies and whatever the case may be. But there was no conversation.
Right.
I don't know if it was stemmed because of our age. We didn't know we were supposed to speak about it or not speak about it, whatever the case may be. It was just like, all right, you know what? You took mine, I took yours. Let's go ahead and explore. And I think that's what happened in, when I became sexually active, willingly. We'll talk about that some other time.
Exactly.
That's a whole other story about unwilling or no consent. But yeah, so with that being said, I love that for you. I love the fact that you actually at 19 was able to have an open dialogue conversation with your partner, and you guys were like, this is off limits, and we can do that, and let's explore something else. So yeah, I love that for you.
Yeah. Well, for too long, we're told as young girls, I mean, I lost my virginity when I was a lot younger. I am a survivor of SA. So,
you can say what SA is, girl.
Sexual assault,
okay.
So, from there, I went the opposite way. I became very hypersexualized, and I can honestly say that I did not know what the heck was going on, what I was doing, what the rules were, that I could have an opinion about what I liked and what I didn't like and what I wanted and what I didn't want, or if I wanted to do it or if I didn't want to do it.
Right.
I didn't know that was an option. So when I discovered I do have an option, I can say what I like, what I don't like, what I want, what I don't want. I met the perfect person, to be able to comfortably communicate that with, and so he just made it easy.
You married your best friend.
I married my best friend. Yes.
Okay, so let's dive more into this conversation.
Do it.
Not about anal play, but let's talk about this stuff. So you've taught. Okay, you and I we have some history.
Yes,
right?
we do.
So I know about your background a little bit.
Yes.
Just to give you guys a little teaser. All right. So Dana and I are business partners, and we own a nonprofit together called the Trauma Recovery and Prevention Alliance, aka T.R.A.P.A.
T.R.A.P.A.
Woo, plug in shame. Okay. So we are 2.5 years in, and for those of you who don't know about nonprofit world, it is not for the weak. So we deal with trauma all day long. Dana, her background is in prevention education when it comes to SA and DV. So she does amazing work teaching these kids about sex and sexual, prevention and the do's and don'ts, right? Very impressed by this young lady. Although she's older than me. No, I'm just joking.
I am. 1 year.
1 year? No, a couple months, not a year. Never mind, we'll talk about that later. Anyway,
yeah,
you've taught so many people. I mean, I'm talking about what's not classrooms, but an auditorium full of hundreds, 800 kids.
Hundreds.
Teenage kids, college students,
Maybe
junior high school students. You taught so many kids about sex and identity and consent, especially about consent. But how did your own understanding of intimacy shift when your body started saying no?
When
it started saying no.
When my body started saying, hold up, I don't know if it said no. It just is like, hold up, wait, we need to reevaluate some things here. But the whole idea of consent has always been something that's always been in the forefront of my mind. So it was something, like I said before, I did not know I could verbally express, and my whole goal with working with youth was to be able to give them information that I've developed over the years, things that I've researched, things that I've read about, speaking to other professionals, about it, because I feel like and teaching other professionals, because they need this information,
right.
And I wanted them to be able to have this information, so that they're able to realize that they can make good choices that don't lead to SA, sexual assault, or that don't lead to, different other types of trauma and harm, so that they can really exercise their voices. When it came to me personally, I just felt like, when my body started to say, hold on, slow down a little bit, boundaries were just always... It was always an option. I'm, again, having someone that I can communicate with, being able to communicate and speak openly about it. I love talking about sex. I love talking about, my experiences and hearing other people's experiences, seriously,
I laugh because when I approached you about this topic, we've never really...
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Even though we talk about sex education and we're around students, we're around other people, professionals, law enforcement, whatever. But you and I having a dialogue about our own personal sex lives. It never came about until I approached you about this particular, this topic and this podcast. And then when you opened, because I thought you were a little reserved, honestly. And then when you came out, I was like, no, girl, let me tell you right quick. I was like, oh, Dana. My goodness, okay. So okay, so, I was pleasantly surprised, relieved. Okay, and I was just like, all right, this is another girlfriend that I can actually have this conversation with. Yes,
absolutely.
There's not too many people you can have this conversation with,
and that's true,
right?
And that's very true.
So, and however this looks like, for me to sit here and talk about anal play. Oh my goodness, my mother, if she was still alive, she'd be like, no child, like that Haitian ass, God forbid, she would have never. Anyway.
Flashbacks.
Girl,
breathe. Breathe. Use the fan. Yes.
Can we talk about a moment when you realized something had changed in your body and how that impacted your relationship with desire or pleasure?
Well, honestly, I had I had an experience where I had a hysterectomy when I was 34 years old. I had to have a complete hysterectomy when I was 34. And but my sex drive did not diminish, regardless of what they said. It did not diminish even a little tiny bit at all. And there was a point where my husband and I were involved in having sex. We were having sex, and I heard something pop a little bit, and I was like, wait, what? Hold on, what's going on here? What happened? And I was like, you know what? I think it was that particular position, So I realized that, that position may not, it was reverse cowgirl. And I was like, that may not be it for me anymore.
Oh, you didn't want that? You didn't like the pop?
No, not that.
Was it painful?
It was painful.
Oh, it was a painful pop.
Yeah, it was a painful pop, And I was like, you know what? I'm getting older. I don't have that flexibility I used to anymore, I got a cramp. I had a cramp in the leg. I was like, this is not working, babe,
Get a Charlie horse?
Charlie horse, yes. I was like, oh, no.
You didn't eat a banana before you took that?
No. I was like, okay, we are
You needed more potassium, honey. You needed more potassium.
Girl, I needed to stretch. I needed to go to do some yoga, some Pilates. That's when I started researching Pilates and yoga and doing stretches. Because our bodies do change.
Yeah.
When we have any type of medical issue, there's going to be some type of physical change within the body. And sex, I feel like, is a great way for you to find out what is not working for you anymore.
Especially the flexibility part.
What?
Because, in every marriage...
I used to be able to do splits and all kind of stuff. And when things went south... When Alexa came and things went south, I was just like, okay, we got to experiment with some more stuff, So we started doing research. We did
research for real?
We did.
Did you watch porn?
We watched porn. We went through the Kama Sutra.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sutra.
We did.
Okay.
We went through the Kama Sutra. We talked to other, friends of ours that we've had these type of discussions with before, got different suggestions, and one thing about us, we were very good at taking suggestions, Well,
your husband's a therapist.
He is, yeah.
So I mean,
he is. So, and it was great, and it was great, but it also, when your body changes, there's going to be changes in your sex life.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
And not just physically, but mentally too.
Mentally, absolutely.
And emotions.
Absolutely.
Emotionally as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Emotionally is crazy, you know, how physical illness or physical issues can, affect you mentally, and make you doubt your ability to be fulfilling sexually. Yeah. So these things happen. These things are very, very real, which is why emotional connections are so extremely important.
Absolutely.
Not just basing a relationship on the physical, having an emotional connection, having, a spiritual connection, with your person, with your partner.
Or partners.
Is vital.
Absolutely.
Is vital in order to keep it going.
Yes. No shame for those who have partners. There's no shame here. There's a no shame.
None at all.
None, because sometimes, as married women, we I won't leave it. Okay. All right. So let's segue into the whole silent factor, right? So sometimes silence between partners is louder than words. You've experienced that. I've experienced that.
Yes.
So how have you navigated those unspoken moments when intimacy felt like out of reach? For
Okay,
you
so
and your partner. I was gonna say his name, but I was like, no, I'm gonna do that.
all right, so going back, okay, a little bit. So my husband is also a military vet. He's a combat vet.
So is my husband.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And we're vets too.
Yes, we are.
But so my husband was wounded when he was in one of his deployments, during the war in Iraq. So he suffered nerve damage and spinal damage and stuff like that. So it was very difficult. It became a lot more difficult for him to become aroused, so that I did not understand, because he would not talk about it. So when there's...
Which is ironic, because he's a therapist. You would think he would talk about it.
But you know what? He's a man.
That's true.
He's a man
first.
also. He's
That's
a man
very true.
first.
Yes.
Exactly. And, that plays their libido plays such a strong part in their identity, in who they are. And so even if we've been married for 1,000 years, it's still going to be difficult, for most men to talk about, when they're having problems in that area. So
especially with their partners.
But the thing to remember is that communication is vital, because then, the partner, or in my case, I did not know what was going on. I thought maybe it was me. I thought that he was not attracted. I accused the man of cheating. And if you know my husband, you know that ain't the case, but you could not tell. Something was wrong. Something was wrong, okay? But one thing we decided to do when I started to learn more about his condition and what was going on and how it was affecting him and how it was affecting us, we decided communication has to be key. Right. So we decided to talk about these things, even though talking was harder for him, a lot harder for him than it was for me. I would not let it go. Okay. Because I needed him to understand that I'm here for you too. This is important for both of us.
So you didn't just make it all his problem.
No, absolutely not.
So you realized within your relationship it was both of you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Because
you just said it in the beginning that you've had these. It's never been an issue with you guys having an open dialogue when it comes to your sex life.
None at all. So, we were great. Super adventurous all over the house. There is not a location we have not touched.
Oh God.
It's been thoroughly cleaned.
I'm sure I didn't see anything, Dana.
But
I love that for you.
Yeah, but going from bright lights to
complete
darkness. Is very traumatic, especially when you don't know what's happening, when there's no communication, no real communication happening, So, but when he realized how it was affecting me, it took a long time, but when he realized how it was really affecting me and it was affecting my self-esteem and, it was affecting, I was developing anger issues and had to even seek therapy my own self, you know what I mean, to deal with the way that I was feeling. He realized that, okay, this is something we need to work on. So we started focusing on the emotional connection, making our emotional bond stronger, our spiritual bond with one another stronger.
You guys, you were always into church, so
yes, so
you started making him come to church too.
Well, actually, we started going to church at the same time.
Okay,
when my daughter was a baby, like 26 years ago, we started going to church together. And we always believed that there needed to be a higher power that was able to help us to keep our cord strong.
Okay.
And it's been very helpful in our relationship.
Okay.
There is that connection that we share, because we have the same beliefs. We have we have the same
strong Christian
values.
Okay.
We have the. I'm not like super. I'm still Dana. But
We have 2 Danas, y'all.
Yeah.
We have Dana, and then we have Project Dana.
We have Project Dana. So, but we try to keep Project Dana at bay.
Yes.
Yes, we keep her at bay.
Yes. No, I like Project Dana.
She likes Project Dana, okay? Project
Project cusses.
Yeah, regular Dana doesn't curse. No.
Dana don't curse.
She
Project
does not
Dana
curse.
I
Yes.
like Dana. I like Dana. I like both Danas.
Everybody likes Project Dana better, but that's okay. That's okay.
We call her Project Dana because she grew up in Project. So when Project came to come out, she's fun. All right, so you speak truthfully about the importance of boundaries, right? We handled that before.
Very
How
important.
Did you approach this? How did you approach your communication and consent change when you started navigating your body's limits?
How did I start communicating that?
Yeah.
I honestly just being honest with myself. I had to like really sit down and think about what why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? And then figure out a way to communicate that.
Okay.
To my husband, to my partner, and whoever else needed to have this discussion, whoever I needed to talk to about it, and not letting shame and fear about those things shut me down. I know too many women, too many people in general that completely shut down, when things are not going the way that they used to in the bedroom with them, and...
Well, in the last segment, we were talking with the last guest, we were talking about perfection and how we're always looking for perfection and how we seek and how we try to look for that all the time, how we strive for that as Black women especially. Mm-hmm.
It's impossible.
Yeah, it is.
It's impossible.
It really is.
It is impossible. We are not perfect beings.
And we shouldn't be striving for it.
No.
As the last guest has stated before, lovely woman, but her name is Debbie Maisha. Mm-hmm. But can't wait to have her again. I literally love the fact of how she explained, when it came to perfection and how, as Black women, how we are perceived and how we change and how we should be looking forward towards not seeking perfection, right?
Exactly.
Nobody's perfect. No one's perfect. But for some reason, society wants to put us in these little molds. You know what I'm saying? You can get in the perfect marriage, get in the perfect relationship, in the perfect wedding. The perfect children. We want our children to be perfect. Are you kidding me? I wasn't perfect as a kid.
I definitely was not perfect as a kid. So I don't...
I got my ass whooped for not being perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up in a Haitian household, not for the weak. So you had to follow certain things, and if you didn't, you got punished for that.
Absolutely. Perfection is an unattainable goal. It's something that we should not really be striving for. We should be striving to love ourselves.
Absolutely.
To find happiness in everyday life, in things that make us happy.
Absolutely.
We have to stop, looking for other people to be our missing piece and to, be the ones that make us happy.
Right.
One thing in my journey I had to realize is no one, I don't care who they are, is responsible for my happiness.
And your peace.
If you want, and my peace, exactly.
Yes.
If you add to it, great.
Right.
I absolutely love that, But you are not responsible
it's interesting
for
that you
my
say
happiness or for my peace.
When I met my husband, who was my boyfriend then, the very first thing he said to me when we got together was, I want to know, what I want in this relationship is what can you add to my character and what I'm going to add to your character. Mm-hmm. And I was like, for a Brooklyn boy who's 19 years old, that's deep. I'm like, you're a deep thinker. No, you listen to Prince and PM Dawn. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? So when he said that, I took it in a sense where I was just like, because I came from, although I suffered from sexual abuse, but my parents weren't abusive towards me. I suffered from sexual and physical abuse and emotional abuse. However, space. When I met him and he said these things to me and he was just like, add to your character and add to your character. And I was like, I've never had anybody say that to me before. So I was just like, okay, I took it as that missing piece. So I was like, wait a minute, is he asking me to be that missing link for him? That makes that missing link, and he's going to be that person for me?
Gotcha.
But it took me years to realize that's not what he meant. You know what I'm saying? Because I was striving, looking for him to be that, make me happy. What are you going to do to make me happy? What are you going to do to make me happy? You know? And when I didn't receive that, when it wasn't reciprocated, I felt some type of way.
Of course.
But, through time and maturity and speaking and reading and watching and listening, right? I was just like, okay, that's not what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm
right.
adding to his character is adding to a character, not becoming that character.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I love being 50.
Do!
We just learned so
Even though I
much.
say aging sucks, but in a matter of fact, I'm like, you know what?
The physical part sucks.
Yeah, it does sometimes.
The physical part sucks.
It does
but
sometimes, especially when it's time to get to bed.
Girl, don't leave me any
Sometimes
started.
you like, oh God, I need some order oil. Them joints be hurting.
Girl, we got one of those Tempur-Pedic beds that
So
lift
do
you
I.
up
Yes,
so
I
I
do.
can lift myself
I
up
sure
out of the bed in the morning.
I sure do. Early to rise and press that button.
And then swing the legs over and then lower it back down
And
when
we
you
both
get up.
sigh. We both like... We both sigh. It's so sad. But anyway, so many women carry shame or silence, right?
Yes, too many.
When our bodies no longer cooperate with sexually, right? So what helped you start speaking about it, not as a failure, but as part of your journey?
I got tired of feeling like I was by myself. That
Woo!
no one else
Girl.
could understand.
Crank, 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 crank,
I
crank, crank.
knew.
I don't have that piece yet.
My brain was like, you are not alone in this. But that shame and embarrassment was telling me, no one is going to understand. You're going to look so stupid, you know? So it kept me, I got tired of that voice. I said, no,
Right.
absolutely not. I'm going to talk about this. I'm not only going to talk to my partner about this. I'm going to talk to my friends about this. You know, not everybody mind you.
Don't
But
everybody in your doggone business.
yeah, exactly. A select few people, you know, and I
Well,
was
everybody
like,
don't even know business now.
and that is okay. That is okay. You know, that is
I
okay.
know. They're going to get so many comments about, hey, girl, you went to anal play? Okay.
No, not I.
Oh,
That's this one over here.
Used to. Certain things the bodies can't do no more. They say you get loose when you get older. Not everything.
No, not everything gets loose.
Not everything gets loose.
You don't use it, it tightens up.
It sure does, don't it?
Girl, stop.
Especially when there's no lubrication. But anyway.
For real. Yes.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
She got my fan.
Here we go, darling. All right.
No, it's cool. You know, I just realized I'm not going to hide anymore. I'm tired of feeling like I'm in this by myself because I know I would have never known about your situation if you hadn't talked to me. If I hadn't talked to you about my situation.
And what do I always say?
We're just
what do I
like,
always say? I always tell everybody, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. I'm
It
constantly
doesn't.
telling people this stuff. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. If we don't sit there and talk about it,
exactly.
I never gonna know. I would have never known, Dana.
And the thing is, I am not ashamed. You know, I mean, the thing is, if anything, I feel like my emotional connection, you know, to my husband, our intimacy is constantly improving.
Yeah.
You know, we've been married for 32 years. For the last 5 years,
Go ahead,
we have
girl.
not
Third
had
plateau.
physical intimacy.
You hear that?
Because of
That
his
got me.
physical
That got me.
issues.
When
know?
you said that to me, as big as my lips are, I swear to God, they hit the floor.
She did.
I was like, what?
She was driving too. I was like, be careful, calm down,
What?
slow
What did you
down.
I could not. I was in shock. Because the way you guys, y'all some good actors. The way you are so intimate or so compassionate, and the way you speak about him, and so endearing, so loving, the way that he's reciprocating that, I would have never thought.
Well, you know what? We worked on it. We had to work on that. You know, marriage is a lot more than physical. Yeah. It has to be.
Yes.
It has to be. You never know what life is going to throw at you, what type of physical issues or, you know, medical issues or emotional issues are going to intercept, you know, physical intimacy. You have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, so we started doing things like taking more time just to be together, whether we're just walking the dog together, whether we are, you know, we go out to dinner together, or we have date night every week.
So important.
Date night
Absolutely.
is essential.
Yes.
Even if it's sitting on the couch, you know, we both love horror movies, so if we're watching horror movies together, we're playing with each other, we're teasing each other. I do.
She has a Michael Myers ringtone.
And I am so not ashamed. I am so not ashamed of it.
I was like, what? Okay.
I am so not ashamed of it. People get
We're
scared.
in the middle of a corporate office, and all of a sudden, the Michael Myers theme song comes on. I'm like, ugh.
Yes, I've had people freak out over my ringtones, but you know what? It's okay. That's my thing. That's what I like.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
That's my weirdness. You
No,
know,
it's not
I
weird.
love horror movies, but
It's not
he
weird.
loves it too. You know,
And
he
that's
loves
good.
horror movies, and we have so much in common, and we communicate, and we watch movies together, and we play with each other. You know, we're physical in other ways. You
Right.
know that count. You know
That count for that 5 year.
That count for that 5 year. You know, it may not be sexual in nature, and that's perfectly fine because I know that this is my ride or die, you know, and I am his ride or die.
Marry your best friends, people.
That is my best friend. Exactly.
Okay.
That is my best friend. He has gone above and beyond.
Have great sex life with your best friend.
And there you go. You know, it doesn't mean that it'll never happen again,
Right.
you know, but if it doesn't, I know that we are both in it for the long haul and that our love does not diminish.
so
We've
much
had
respect.
to work harder. We've had to work harder
Yeah.
than most people,
Yeah.
you know, because we are missing that element, you know, but it's okay because I understand him and he understands me.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
So
That's
what
my
do you recommend for couples who are afraid to even start this conversation, right, with each other? And how do you begin to talk about intimacy after medical trauma, such as what you experienced with your husband? I've experienced with my husband because my husband actually suffered from prostate cancer, and he had his whole prostate removed. And so we
Yes.
went through a whole 1.5 year drought, I guess you could say. I don't want to call it a drought because it wasn't his fault. It wasn't like something that, you know what I'm saying to you?
Of
So
course.
I know what I had to go through, or what I'm going through rather still.
Yeah.
And how did you deal with that?
You know what? I would tell other people, you know what, to talk about it. You know what I mean? Don't let the
Conversation's
shame.
key.
Conversation is so key. You know, even if you feel like you're not ready or you don't know how to speak to your partner about it, talk to a trusted friend, someone that you know that's got your back, your friend ride or die, you know, or talk to a therapist and get some
MFT.
tools. I talk to my therapist about how to, you know, have these conversations, how to talk about it, you know, how I'm feeling, you know, because sometimes you might start that conversation and it doesn't go the way that you want it to.
Right.
And that can also make you feel bad. That can make you feel angry or you know, inadequate, or you want to just give up, you
Right.
know. But you have to look at it, look at the big picture. It's not just physical, you know. It can't be just physical.
Yeah, it can't be because when my husband had the surgery last year, and we knew, so we were having as much sex as possible before that surgery actually occurred. And we knew that once the surgery occurred, we didn't know how fast he was going to be able to bounce back, right? Get his libido back and he never lost a desire to have sex. And my husband is very sexual. He's very much a sexual person. And what's crazy is that when we got together, sex was never a big issue for me. I'd be like, okay, I guess we're going to have sex. Not with just him, but even with previous sexual partners, you see what I'm saying to you? So it was just like, I in my younger years, in my 20s and my 30s, I just had sex just to have sex. And, but it wasn't until I reached 45 and I had a physical change happen to my body, and I had a brain tumor that I had to be removed.
I remember.
And that was actually suppressing my pituitary gland, for those of you who know the importance of that, and suppressing hormones and so on and so forth. Once those things were released, right, I had this sexual drive that came on me. I was like, this is what you guys have been experiencing all this time? I felt cheated. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I've been sexually active since I was 17 years old. Never really had a drive to have sex.
Yeah.
Just had it just for the sake of having it.
Yeah.
And then for 20s and 30s and pretty much, you know, half of my 40s, I was like, this is what the hell y'all have been experiencing this whole time? Shit! You know what I'm saying to you? Like, God, I'm loving the fact for the last 6-7 years that this is what I've been experiencing. But this last 1.5 years, like I said, you know, it has been because of my husband's physical limitations, because of the prostate cancer. But we found other ways, and he's loving it. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
We had this conversation before I decided that we were going to have this conversation in this podcast, and we had a heart to heart, and he was just like, "Girl, talk about it. You talk about it anyway. So you know, like, go ahead. You know, go ahead." I don't
mine
have,
too.
So he has no issues in regards to me divulging that he had prostate cancer, and how we're actually navigating that. You know, we're finding different ways to pleasure each other, because Lord knows we've done everything. And so, and his thing is, he's basically more into pleasing me. You know what I'm saying to you? Sexually. But at the same time, I feel guilt. I feel guilty. Even though it's wonderful and it feels great, but at the same time, I'm like, because I know the type of person that he is and how sexual he is. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, are you not getting anything out of this? And he's like, absolutely. I love that you're, you know, you're having explosive orgasms because God knows I am. And and we're doing it not just at night when the kids are asleep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're doing it in the middle of the afternoon or on a Sunday morning before church.
Yeah, that's fun. That's
you know
fun.
what I'm saying? You know, right?
No, God loves that.
He sure does.
He loves that.
Does. He was like, I gave you a clitoris for a reason, girl. So, or in the shower.
Yeah.
Right? Like we used to when I was back in the day. Now, like I said, when we started this segment, I can't do certain things now.
No.
All right? When we reach a certain age,
Yeah.
I can't get the knees behind the ears no more. Okay?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's certain things that there's limitations. There's limitations. I ain't stretched before I started, you know, delving in.
That's another reason why I don't feel so bad. You know what I mean? Because
it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, doing those yoga stretches before and after was a lot. It was becoming it was a lot. It was, you know. So I'm not mad. I'm tired all the time. What? Shoot, I was like, you know what? We gonna work it out,
right?
You know, but I'm not hating, especially because I've always been a super physical, sexual being. You know, I mean, that's just always been who I was. You know, so we were kind of like the opposite of you and your husband. So it was a little bit harder for me, I would say.
You know what's crazy? I don't mean to cut you off, but what's crazy for me was I wanted to be that person.
Really?
I wanted to be that very sexual, sensual
It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's a lot of work.
I don't feel it's a lot of work. Maybe because I didn't have it for all those years, and then now I am at the age that I am right now. I'm in my 50s, and I'm just like, I feel cheated in a sense because I was just like, well, goddamn it, excuse me, Lord, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
she didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because I was cheated all this because of PCO. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS. You know, it's all kinds of other stuff that's happening. You know.
Yeah, I had a lot of medical procedures and surgeries in that area. I had to have abdominal explorations after my hysterectomy because I was developing cysts, you know, cysts that were bursting.
And fibroids?
Bursting. Oh, the fibroids was the reason I had to have the whole
hysterectomy?
The whole hysterectomy to begin with and everything. And it was so young. My fibroids were the size of softballs. You know what I mean? So, yeah, when they showed me what everything looked like after it was removed, I was like, wow.
You carrying that? You had other babies.
Yes.
You carrying
babies.
Multiple ones. Wow.
Yes.
Wow,
you know.
wow.
So.
And that's so prevalent in for Black women.
It is. It really is.
I know there's a lot of research.
Several women. Yeah. I have several friends who had to have hysterectomies.
Full hysterectomies.
Full hysterectomies. Maybe one or two have had partial, but pretty much everyone else has had full hysterectomies due to humongous fibroids. Yes.
I know there's a lot of research being conducted or have been conducted in regards to that, how, you know, Black women are suffering from, you know, higher cases of fibroids. And that's something that maybe when we come down, you know, down the pipeline, we'll talk about fibroids.
Let's talk about it.
And let's talk about it.
It's important. It's something that needs to be discussed.
Absolutely.
Yep,
yeah, so we're all about health conscious. Okay, so what healing or pleasure practices have you seen work beautifully, right? Especially for women over 50 like us. And who are redefining sexuality on their own terms, post-trauma or illnesses?
Let me see.
I know that's a heavy
question. Right? Yes, absolutely. I would say learning to love yourself. You know, once you hit 50, you kind of get this mind frame where you don't let things bother you that much anymore. You know, I don't care. Yeah,
come on, Project Dana.
There you go. She's not going there.
Come on,
she's not gonna
come
say
on,
it.
You can say it.
She's not gonna say it.
This is not
it's the same thing. It's the same thing what you said. Yes, but you just don't care.
Come on, girl. You don't be saying it.
You just don't care.
All right.
You just don't
I'll
care.
Say it for you.
Yes, you've done that before. So you've cursed for me before. I've had to point to her in the past, and she say the curse words. So
this woman literally had told me, she said, stop saying the F-bomb, just say fraggle knackle.
Yes.
No. We're not doing that.
She did it, though.
I did.
She did.
I tried.
She did.
I was weaning myself off the F-bomb.
I give her credit. I
did say fraggle knackle a few
instances. You did.
But going back to what you were saying.
Yes. But, yeah, it's just, you get to an age where when you're like, I would say 45-ish, going.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't care anymore. You know, things that bother you that would have bothered you so much.
Right.
Just don't bother you like that anymore.
Who's that comedian? What's a little comedian that we love so much? Cat Williams.
Okay.
Cat Williams.
No, you did not.
I'm sorry. I love him.
Call him the little.
I love me some Cat Williams. That is the most intelligent man.
Too.
I respect him. I love the fact that he spent many years in Haiti. Love it. Love him. Love you, Cat. Love you. Okay. However, comma space. When you said there's a I don't give a shit button that comes on when you reach a certain age. Boop. Yes. Or I think it was like a switch or something that comes on.
It's that button, man.
Yeah,
it does.
I think it was a switch.
And you just don't care.
Yeah.
You really just don't care.
I think you said it when you smoke weed, though.
And then you don't feel... See, well, that's...
I think he was referencing weed.
I think when it comes to women, I can't talk about men. Maybe it's the weed thing for men, but I know for women, once
I do not partake in cannabis.
Yeah, okay. Once we hit a certain stage in life, we just don't care about things like that anymore. It just, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, it's not going to affect us the same way.
It's true.
It just is not going to affect us the same way.
Things that used to bother me back in my 20s and 30s, it just doesn't affect me anymore. I think that's when it started. I started graying early. A lot of things were affected. Since I was 15. I was just dying them. No one knew.
Really?
Yeah, I was graying since I was 15 years old.
Dana did not.
I had a patch right here. People thought that, it was like a birthmark.
See? That's too much.
Native was stressed.
That's too much.
Yes.
That's too much. Yeah. Like I was looking forward to hitting 50. I had friends that were older than me that were like, Dana, when you get to be 50, your whole outlook on things are going to change. I was like, I can't wait. Girl, I cannot wait. I was so happy when I hit my 50th. I was like, yes. And when I tell you, I honestly don't feel the stress that I felt back then. I get stressed about other things, but at the same time,
that's a whole other topic.
We got to have a whole nother podcast about raising adult children, because it never goes away. You never stop.
That's true. You never stop being a mom.
Yeah, but you just don't care. And so physically and sexually and stuff, things that would have this would have destroyed me when I was in my 20s. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't know if we would have been able to salvage this, but over time, looking at everything that's happened physically, with the two of us, emotionally, the things that we've had to overcome, the way we've tried to overcome them through, communication, through prayer, you know what I mean? Through, talking to friends. He has no problem with me opening up about my issues because he knows when I come home, that's another weight that's been lifted off my shoulders. Is it going to be
Project Dana when you go?
It could be.
Oh, Dana Day.
It could be. It could be. Who knows? And I strongly say, the best way to stay in the dark is by not talking, is not communicating with people about what it is that you're going through. That's
my next question for you is, what does connection look like for you and your partner? What does connection mean? That's the question I want to focus on. What does connection look like for you and your partner? It
looks like emotional connection. It's laughter. It is him after all of these years, as corny as he is and has always been, I still laugh at how corny he is, It's us being able to, take a day and just take a drive together. It is, about us being open and honest about things, talking about what flavor ices we like, Italian ices, just what as long as we are together is the way, and we're able to just be open and honest and communicate freely with one another. That is intimacy.
So what I hear throughout this entire time that we're speaking, you're basically centering everything around communication.
Absolutely.
So you're saying communication is an absolute key to the base of your relationship.
Absolutely.
I agree.
For good or the bad. I don't always like everything he says to me or when he's opening up.
And I love
just like
that.
I know he doesn't love everything that I have to say to him.
Right.
But he doesn't make me feel like I can't say it.
Yes.
And I do my best to make sure I'm a safe space for him as well.
Okay.
That's important.
That's good. That's very important. And he does that for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You sure? No, I'm just kidding. I love that for you guys. I love that for you guys because my husband is a very quiet individual. Okay, and as you can clearly see, I'm not. I'm the exact opposite of him. And so I'm loud and I'm boisterous and opinionated, and I'm a Capricorn, so I'm ambitious. My husband's a Libra, so he's the balance. But he is the person that I say, because I'm just all about, I want to see the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm all out there, and that's just the person I am. And to me, he is, in a sense, coupled with my mother, because my mother was exactly the same way as him. They always had a little bit of a lasso tied around my foot or around my ankle. I was like, come here, girl. You're floating a little bit too high. Let's bring it down just a little bit. You're a little bit up there. So he, in a sense, he's kept me grounded.
And that's important.
When I need to be, right? So when I need to be. And then with him, with me, through our conversation throughout, and because my husband and I have been together for 32 years as well. And so he and I basically said the same. He said the same thing about him. He was like, with you being married to you, you let me see something different. It's not the monotony of every day going to work, coming home, taking care of the kids, taking good baths, shower, and go home. He's like, with you, it's something different. He goes, you change your hair, you change your panties. Yeah. He was like, I got a different woman every week, and I was like, you right, honey. I'm this week. Okay, so
exactly.
I'm constantly changing my hairstyle. I'm constantly changing the things that I do. I like doing different things. I like seeing different things. I like going different places. I like meeting different people. So I'm always bringing new people into our home, into our lives. And so with him, he's just like, that's what I love about you. That's what I want. That's what I love being with you. And so that's I guess that's how we balance each other out.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
and that's important.
That's absolutely important.
That's important.
And
He's
allowing
you to be you.
I don't like the word he used, allow. I don't like the word allow. I don't like allow.
You know what?
I'm me.
I'm okay with the word allow. You know what I mean? Because there's no resistance. He's not resisting you being you.
Not absolutely.
You know, and there are a lot of long, especially relationships that have gone on as long as ours have, and even longer, where they become very codependent on each other. You know, or there is one that is that dominant figure in the relationship. So
we're very much equal.
Exactly. You know, and it's the same with my husband and I. He allows me to be who I am. We are both Sagittariuses.
Woo!
We have the same birthday.
Yes, I know that.
Yes. We have the same birthday.
So you can't forget each other.
We have a 4 years difference. It's a 4-year difference, but he's older than me.
Well, he'll never forget your birthday.
Thank goodness. That was a blessing for him, boy, because that's one thing I would not be okay with. You do not forget my birthday. You know, but so it works, you know? Sometimes opposites attract. We're the same coin, but we are opposite sides. Yeah. You know, we are those
You're
opposite sides of it, and he's not. Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he will answer a direct question.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Black and white. It's right.
Very straight up.
Yeah. There's no gray area with my husband either.
No.
It's black and white.
That's why they get along so great.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
All right.
Yeah. It's not a lot of communication.
So we reached the part of the show where I have to ask you these rapid fire questions.
Fire away.
Intimacy, excuse me. Intimacy gaps. Why can I not say intimacy? What is wrong with me? You know what? I had a stutter as a child. But anyway. Intimacy gaps. Okay. This is the rapid fires. So here we go. What's hard to say out loud? I'm in pain, or I still want you.
I still want you.
Woo! Loving that, girl.
That's vulnerability.
Right?
That's vulnerability right there.
I still want you. Goddamn. All right. One word that describes your relationship with your body right now.
Love affair. I love me.
Bam!
I love me.
For the people in the audience, we have an audience who are going like this. For those of you who can't see it, we got people going like this. It's still, okay, so here we go. Question number 3. Is sex still sex if there's no penetration?
Yes. Absolutely.
Give me 2 examples.
Girl.
Oh. We're going to do some oh.
Can we say this?
We can say oh. Girl.
Yeah, oh.
Oh.
The O. Mm-hmm. Okay. Absolutely. And these 10 little digits, they can work wonders.
Delicioso. Okay. Which matters more in a dry spell? Honesty or hope?
Both. I would say both are equally important.
I'm glad
both
you said that.
Both are equally important. You have to be honest, and you can never, ever give up hope.
Yes.
Ever.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing people assume that about intimacy and illness that's totally wrong?
That you can still do it even if you are, sick, or if there's something going on, that you're being selfish, by not doing it. That couldn't be further from the truth.
That's true.
Selfishness doesn't really have anything to do with it, because your partner or the other person or you, we don't know what you're going through, what you're actually feeling. It's psychological as well.
That's one thing I always said with my husband too, is that we said that's in the very beginning of our relationship, coupled with the what do I add to your character, is you can't fault me for the way I feel.
Absolutely. No one
Don't
can
find
say
fault
that.
in the way I feel. Because the way I feel is the way I feel.
Exactly.
Whatever you say, you convey, you act, whatever it is that makes me feel a certain way, you can't fault me for the way I feel. Now, we can talk about.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. Right? Let's have that elephant in the room conversation. Silence during sex, peaceful or awkward?
For me, awkward.
You like it hot and heavy and loud? You like noise?
I like noise.
You like noise?
I like to know that.
Can't.
I like to know that I'm making you feel feelings, and I like you to know.
Scream so
and
bad.
I like you to know that you are making me feel feelings.
Let me tell
girl.
you why I want to scream.
I like noise.
Let me tell you why I can't scream.
If it's too quiet.
Let me tell you why I can't scream.
What?
Because my house is full.
I know that.
I always have a house full of people.
Girl.
I got children from the beginning all the way to now.
That's what pillows are for.
Girl, I've been trying, but I want to scream.
That's what pillows are for.
I want to shout it to the rooftops.
Girl, do what you got to do.
But pillows, you're muffling yourself. You're suffocating yourself.
You're not suffocating yourself. If you got to make that noise,
I do,
girl.
But I want it to be loud.
Okay, I understand. I haven't had to deal with that in...
Lucky you.
20 years. 20 years. So.
I look forward to that day. Well, I could be loud. No, we've done loud. We've done loud.
Yeah.
When we go away. Because my husband and I take trips.
See, and you do.
Yes, we do.
I know you do.
Yes, we're taking a 12-day trip
so
by
there
ourselves.
you go.
Yes, we are.
There you go.
The biggest turn on that isn't physical.
You know what? The biggest turn on is when... and this is weird. This is gonna sound really
not
weird.
Nothing's weird.
Okay,
it's
when he plays with when he messes with my feet.
So you like feet?
That is such a turn on to me.
It's a turn on?
It is.
Well, we have a lot of nerve endings in our feet.
I laugh a lot when you
Outside
touch
of our
my
clitoris?
feet, but it also is a very big turn
think about
on.
it. You ever had a reflexology?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm not saying you get aroused, but you feel good, right?
You feel great.
We have a lot of nerve endings in our feet.
Yes,
right?
we do.
So, and we have and
they affect all different places in your body.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. So, of course, with me, I find what is non-physical when he gazes at you or whatever who your partner is. When that person is gazing at you and you're talking, and they just gaze at you and they just go like that and they scour your body just slightly with their eyes. Woo!
That makes me laugh. That makes me laugh.
That makes you laugh?
It makes me
give you
crack
that
up
look?
laugh. I start laughing so... Listen, I'm the girl who laughed all the way down the aisle. All right? When we were getting married, I laughed all the way down the aisle. I'm so sorry. To this day, I feel bad about that, but I could not stop myself.
Really?
So, yes.
Were you laughing because you couldn't believe you get married?
It was just funny. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just laughed.
Were you high, Dana?
I was not high. I was in the Army.
Okay.
Okay. I was not high at all, but it was just so like long gazes and stuff like that.
It's when you're having you're talking, right?
And we're having an intimate.
And we're just talking,
just
and I'm just scouring my eyes at your body, just looking at and just going, and I have a tendency of looking at your lips when you're speaking.
And that makes me laugh.
That makes you laugh?
That makes me laugh.
Child, that turns me
funny
on.
to me.
You looking at me like that, I'm going to rip you apart.
That makes me... You know what? I'm more of a physical... I've always been a physical touch girl,
But we talk about non-physical.
Too. And I know that. Non-physical...
I'm a romance girl.
Yeah, Yeah.
I like
it's
romance.
not too much.
To me, it's romance. I like the romantic stuff. I like the romance.
I like kisses.
I like mental stimulation.
Oh, yeah.
You want to get the panties wet? Kaplash! Mental stimulation, child. Are you kidding?
I already know what you're thinking.
You do?
Yes.
Do it.
I already know what you're thinking.
I love mental stimulation. That's just it for me. Okay. More healing Laughter in the bed or tears in the bed? What's more healing?
Laughter.
Laughter.
For sure.
You're so right.
For sure.
I guess it's a combination of both.
Oh, no.
Depending.
Laughter is.
But laughter is great.
It's the best. It is the best.
Especially during sex.
And that is such a turn on.
Especially during sex.
Yes.
Right?
When you say something stupid or he says something stupid
or
and
something
you both
stupid
start
happens.
yes. You guys have a little mishap
Right?
and
Oh,
you
when the
start
penis just
busting
comes
out
out.
yes, and you start laughing.
You're just like, oh, I'm sorry. Was that me? You know, I have children, so sometimes you get a knock on the door. Things happen, you know. The mood is gone. So,
yeah.
You know.
And I have a dog, and he is very protective, so we have to, like, lock him out.
Yeah.
You know, we've had to lock him out. He used to jump up on our bed, you know, like, what's going on over here and
I had
stuff.
a funny story.
We have to cover up, be like,
Mrs. Compass, I got to tell you a story, honey. Mrs. Compass is my mother. She's passed. We were living in Brooklyn, and we didn't have a lock on our door.
oh, Lord.
You know where this is going.
I do.
And we were in the
not
middle of, it was mid-stroke.
Oh, Lord.
My mama walked on in
Woo! Good grief.
with a letter in her hand and said, "Bitch, can you go?" And walked towards the bed. And was like, "Can you go drop this off in the mail for me?" And I was just like, "Sure, Mom." So I took the letter out of her hand, and she turned around, got to the door, and turned around again, came back towards the bed, and was like, "Oh, and by the way, don't forget to give me some stamps." And I was just like, and then my husband was like, "All right, we're done. It's a wrap. It was over." You know what I'm saying? And so that day
For sure.
there was a hotel lock on that door. From
Oh,
that point
girl,
on.
I'm telling you, better
That
get a
is
latch.
the quickest way to lose.
Oh, definitely.
The feeling. So, what feels more intimate? Eye contact. Oh, we know we're gonna. Or touch.
Touch. Touch. Any kind of touch.
Any kind of touch.
Yes.
Finish the sentence. Even when I couldn't perform, I still felt.
Loved.
Booger face.
Poo poo. Absolutely.
Still felt loved.
Still felt loved. Yes. Still do.
And that's still important. That's so important. That's still important.
Yep. That's communication. He
Yes.
tells me every day.
So you
Regardless.
see, y'all,
Every
communication is key. Communication is key. Even when there's silence, there's still a form of communication.
Absolutely.
Because the people who can't speak, they still communicate,
Exactly.
right?
They do.
It doesn't have to be verbal.
And that's something we teach.
Absolutely.
Right?
We absolutely do.
That's right. Communication is verbal
Yes.
and it's nonverbal.
It's nonverbal. But to know the signs between a healthy
And an
a
unhealthy relationship. Absolutely.
So that's something that we teach as well.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, thank you, Dana. And how can we get the audience to reach out to you, Miss Carter?
Well, you can email me. You can email me through my T.R.A.P.A email, dcarter@T.R.A.P.A.com.
Org.
.org.
Yeah, I know.
So
Condoms are
many-
ready.
We have like 15 emails for T.R.A.P.A.
We do.
To remember.
We do.
Everyone has like 15 individual emails. It's hard to remember all of the emails.
We're .orgs. We're the orgs.
We're .org.
We're an
Yes.
org. Yes. And you can find T.R.A.P.A at our website at www.trappa.org.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. So if you need some healing, we're here to be dealing.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Soft Power Voices.
So we're rhyming now.
Yes.
Okay.
And follow us on Instagram, and our email, softpowervoices, is info@softpowervoices.
See what I mean about too many emails?
Well, we have too many businesses.
Yeah, we do.
7 streams of income. 7 streams of income. Goodbye, everybody. You like that? It was so candid. That's why I'm like, oh, save it for the podcast.
Girl. Yeah, when she asked me about that the first time, I'm like, nope.
Nope. She was like,
Nope, that's not for me.
oh.
Or